This is a podcast about Australian accent and slang. I have with me my mentor and fellow Toastmaster, Lynda. Hi, Lynda.
G'day, Sujith.
How are you today?
Yes, I'm well, thank you.
So, who are you?
Lynda, I'm from Shepparton, which is sort of mid-Victoria, a country town, so I have got a bit of a country accent.
Okay.
In Shepparton, we fall off our horses. In Melbourne, people fall off their horses.
Okay. What's
It's
the
just
difference?
Off and orf. It makes you sound a bit like a yobbo if you say orf.
What is a yobbo?
Someone who's not very well educated.
Ah,
Yeah, so if you don't want to sound like a yobbo, it's a good idea to get rid of some of those country sayings and ways of pronouncing things.
right. But you're not in Shepparton now. You're in Melbourne.
No, yes, that's right. I've tried to adopt the Melbourne way of speaking. I think I've done fairly well.
Yep.
Everyone in Australia's got an accent,
Okay.
but country people have a stronger accent. And, well, let's see, Steve Irwin, who else? Julia Gillard, really?
Oh, Julia Gillard. What accent does she have?
A sort of a yobbo ochre accent,
Okay.
yeah. So you can still get to be Prime Minister even if you've
Yeah,
got
and she
it.
was one of the greatest public speakers I have ever
Yes.
seen.
Yeah, you can understand her. That's not
Yeah.
a problem. But it's interesting because you can figure out what part of Australia someone's from. Australia being a big place, we do have different accents in different states. Do you find that in India?
Yes, we do. We
So you
have
can pick-
different accents, but I can't pick which accent it is because we have too many states there. And but we have a common language, Hindi. And if you can speak Hindi and English, you can survive anywhere in India. Unless somebody doesn't know both, which is unusual.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But do you have areas where people aren't as well educated and speak quite differently?
Oh, yes. Obviously, there's this slang of uneducated people, and we often don't see those words used by educated people. Yeah, it's pretty similar to what you said. But do you face or did you face some issues with your country slang, if you like?
Yes,
With,
my mother-in-law.
Oh, she did?
Yes.
Okay.
Don't say off, say off.
Okay.
I practice. It's very hard to change sometimes, you know.
Yeah, true. Off. And how important do you think a migrant needs to have an Australian accent to survive or thrive, if you like, in Australia?
Yes, they do need an Australian accent in Australia because, for instance, if they were in America, they would be pronouncing things differently, and to an Australian, we might be always saying, pardon, what did you say? I didn't get that. Because our ears are very attuned to our own way of speaking.
Right.
Yeah,
So if I'm speaking to you and you don't understand what I'm saying, you say pardon or sorry. And if you say sorry 2 or 3 times, then I feel embarrassed and I wouldn't want to talk.
yes, that's
Yeah.
right. Well, you shouldn't worry about that. Just,
So what do I do if you do not understand anything I'm saying?
well, you. Well, I say bye. No.
Well, that usually doesn't happen, but
Well, that's,
there's this feeling that if somebody asks you to repeat what you're saying and when you're very tired, you don't feel like it.
yes, it's exhausting. I know, but
Yeah.
but I think it's better not to worry, just to speak slowly.
Right.
The best way really to get an Australian accent is to mix with Australians and listen to them a lot.
Yeah.
Do a lot of listening.
Yes, true. That's what I have been doing since few years, maybe. See, I have used a word. I mean, I did a grammatical mistake here. Since 2000 something, I should be
Yes,
saying,
yes.
isn't it?
Yes.
So, in my childhood days, I somewhere picked this up that if you want to be a great speaker, you do not need to have grammar correct. So, you can still be a great speaker even if you get your grammar wrong.
Yes, you can make
So,
yourself
yeah.
understood.
So, somebody influenced me, and I never worked on my grammar.
Gosh,
Yes, it's interesting. It's interesting to me that even without an Australian accent, even without understanding Australian slang, most of the words, you can still survive and mix with Australians by listening to them. Like you said, the challenge is to be able to understand what they are saying. So the next step is to make them understand what you're saying.
true, yes, so
But
you have a
first thing
conversation.
is you have to understand what they are saying. For that to happen, the only way is to talk to them. So there's this misconception or a popular belief that you have to do things like what they do. Uh, Example, follow AFL
Yes.
and go for barbecue, even if it's not sunny. Just pretending to be.
Rain.
Yes,
Dear.
so, well, if you like barbecue, it's okay, but you don't have to paint your face with another color
Yeah,
to
blue and
pretend
white.
like somebody.
Well, I think you should mix with the people that you're most comfortable with, because not not all Australians follow a football team. I don't. Recently, we've had an art show here in Melbourne, Van Gogh, and I think people were surprised at how many people attended. Yes, we're terribly cultured. So if you want to hang around with cultured people,
Right.
yes,
Yeah.
as long as you hang around with people.
But the challenge for migrants is they say, "Oh, where do I get people first? I can't see any people." They go to work. They are very serious at work. That is why there is no working holiday visa for Indians because we don't take a holiday.
You have
You know what
one
I
a
meant?
week, don't you?
And, well,
One day off a week for every
yeah, but people like
every
to
god.
people like to work on the weekends too.
Yeah, true.
So they find it a big challenge to talk to the locals because they're too busy with work, and when they go home, they listen to the same old songs or watch the same movies in regional languages. It's not, and also follow news stories, what's going on back home. It's not bad to do that, but you have to give equal time to Australian politics as well. You have to watch stories on Australian TV. Like there's something called as Immigration Nation, a documentary from SBS some time ago. If you watch that, you'll get to know how this nation evolved and why is it called an immigration nation.
Yes, that's true. I met a chap from, now where was he from? Might have been Sri Lanka. He moved into his house in the street. He was, well, if you like, the only foreigner. And
Yep.
he invited everyone to his house for a meal. And that's the way he got to know them. I think you've got to step out and meet
Yeah.
people, and sometimes you might have to make the first approach.
Yes, when you're out and about and you see somebody talking about the weather or something, you feel free to go and join the conversation.
Yes.
Yeah, people here like that. So they're open to discussions even if they don't know you. So it's, I mean, you see people talking about weather more here than in India because I don't know the reason we have terrible climate sometimes, but
well,
maybe we are too busy to talk about it.
well the one thing you can say about the weather is we're going to have some.
Okay, what do you mean? You're going
We'll
to
have
have
some
some?
weather of some
Okay.
sort, right? But it's really just a
Yes,
way
like
to
an
make
icebreaker.
conversation. Yes, that's all it is,
Yeah,
an
yeah,
icebreaker, really, and
yeah.
it's good. But then, you talk about things that you'd like to know more about. People like being asked questions.
Yes.
Really, Australians are very easygoing, I think, laid back.
Mm.
Yeah, not too
Yes.
serious.
So some of the migrants are having top skills, but they do not have competent English. So for that reason, they stop their plans to migrate, and it's a big loss to Australia, and it's a loss to them as well. For example, in IT, we need people from security background now. Recently, an occupation added to the skill list. It's ICT security related occupation. So there might be more like that. And we have demand for tradie occupations such as painter, and we got other trade occupations like carpenter.
Yeah, here in Australia, you would call a carpenter a chippy.
Oh, chippy. Okay.
Yes.
Why is that?
Well, when he's sawing up wood,
Right.
his wood chips go flying everywhere, so he's a
Okay.
chippy.
Right.
An electrician is a sparky.
Why do you add Y to all the
We
names?
add
Like,
Y to everything.
yeah, if it's Steve, you say
Vicky's.
Stevie.
Yeah.
But we use Bickies too.
Do
Yeah,
you?
that's interesting thing. We use Bickies for biscuits. Yeah,
Oh, yes,
yeah.
there's
I like
actually
that.
heaps of words that end in,
Okay,
like Barbie.
right.
Yeah, you see if you can tell me what they really.
Barbie is like a doll.
Ah,
No?
yes, it is too, but it's
Yeah,
also the barbecue.
Oh,
Yes, the
barbecue.
barbecue.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they also say Barbie dolls, isn't it?
Yes,
Yeah,
that's
but
true.
usually barbecue.
So you say, isn't
So
it?
we can't say BBQ, isn't it? If you see it.
No, people think you're nuts.
Yeah,
But anyway.
yeah. I'll stop you before you continue.
Yes.
So what about this ATM? What do you say for an ATM?
Oh, some people say I'm going to the hole in the wall to draw out money.
Right.
Yeah. It's an automated teller machine, but no one says that.
Yeah.
Of course, it's an ATM or the hole in the wall.
Yeah, but people also say ATM machine again.
Oh yeah,
There's
well
a
that's
machine
silly.
in
It's like saying
yes.
it's like saying PIN number when it stands for personal identification number. Number. You don't need to say number.
Yeah, twice.
Like the Americans say they fall off of something. You think how many times they have to say off.
Off.
We just say you fall off something.
Okay. What do they say?
They say off of.
Okay.
Off of, yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah, there's all these interesting differences.
English is a silly language.
It is.
They call it a funny language, isn't it? Not silly language.
Well,
Do they
it's
say it's funny language?
it's
There's a saying.
yeah. Well, it's taken from many other languages. We've sort of
Oh
we
yes.
snitched a bit
It's derived
from
from different
French,
parts of the
Latin.
world.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
it's a good language.
Yeah. I will.
It's an easy language to learn.
Oh, is it? It doesn't appear to be. Yes. So now, Linda, you're continuing those words.
Oh, the words
from
that end in
Vicky.
E. Yes. Let's see. Oh, a postie.
Postie.
Yeah.
What is a postie? I know what is pasty.
Yes. Something you eat with vegetables and meat and pastry. A postie delivers the mail.
Oh, the postmaster. Okay.
Oh, no, the postmaster runs the office.
Right.
The postie or postman delivers the mail.
Yeah.
But we just call him the postie.
Yeah. Postman. Yeah. Okay.
A greenie?
Greenie is green vegetables.
No.
See, I'm getting so many things wrong.
Yeah, you've been hanging around with the wrong people.
Oh,
Someone who's
yes.
concerned about the environment, really.
Right.
I think
Oh,
of the Greens,
the Greens Party.
politician
Mm.
Mozzie,
Mossy?
Mozzie.
Mozzie.
Yeah,
No.
Mozzie.
No idea.
Mosquito.
Okay.
You know, summer evening, you're sitting outside
Yeah.
eating your burnt chop at the barbie while you're drinking out of a tinny, and you're
Right.
getting bitten by all these mozzies.
Yeah. Can you explain what you said? So you said you're at a barbecue.
Yes, with your mates.
And then
And you're eating a burnt chop.
Yeah. What is it?
Lamb chop that you've chucked on the barbie.
Yeah. What is tinny? Is it a beer?
Oh, it's a beer, yeah.
Yeah.
Which you took all the sausages and lamb chops in an esky.
Yes, the one where we put cold things in,
That's
like a
right.
fridge.
And you have too much to drink, and so the next morning's Monday, and you don't really want to go to work,
Right.
so you chuck a sickie.
Yeah.
If you're not really sick, it's called chucking a sickie.
Okay.
If you are actually sick, it's a sickie.
Okay. Interesting.
Now, someone at the barbecue would be called a Kiwi. Do you know what that means?
Yeah, Kiwi is usually New Zealand.
That's right, a New Zealander.
Yeah.
They can't speak English very well.
And what do they say about Australians?
I don't know, they come here though. They've got all of our jobs. No.
That's just for a joke.
Yes. Now, at the barbie, you could have a few rallies.
Yeah, I forgot about this. Rallies. Relatives.
Yes, relatives, that's right. And someone could be wearing a new snazzy pair of shoes.
Oh, snazzy. What is it?
Oh, new and high quality.
Okay. Like from the merchant.
Yes. And it could be a good-looking girl there, and you're having
Sheila.
Yeah.
Is that right?
That's probably not in use as much now as it used to be.
I told you even before you finished it.
Yes, that's right. That's a generation.
I only know few words.
Yes, you thought you'd get that in.
Yeah.
Now, someone could be having an optic nerve at a nice-looking girl at the barbecue.
Optic nerve. Don't know.
It's rhyming slang, so it rhymes with something.
Okay. I think I don't know.
It means perv.
Perv.
Yeah.
P-U-R-V.
E, yeah. Which is, just, well, looking at her and thinking, isn't she gorgeous?
But they don't go and say it to her.
Oh, gosh, no. Don't be so uncouth.
Okay. Uncouth?
Uncouth.
What is it? What do you mean by uncouth? So here we
couth
have
is
Lynda, the poet and the English language expert.
Oh, well, we hardly ever say couth. It's always uncouth. Couth is being polite and proper.
Yeah.
Now, at the Barbie, you probably wouldn't have a chook.
Oh, chook. You told me about chook these days. Is it the one you showed me in Lamington Fields? Chook.
Lamington Fields?
Is it something called
Lancefield?
Yeah,
Sounds good. Lamington Fields. I want to go there.
It's nowhere. You can't go.
Chook, yeah, chicken, that's right. And after the barbie, you might have a chewy. You know what that is?
Chewing gum?
Yes, chewing gum.
Yeah.
And if there's a kid there howling at the barbecue, the mum will probably stick a dummy in its mouth. So a dummy.
Tummy.
Do you have those in India?
What is it?
to stop a child crying, you know, sometimes
like
they
a
put
sticker.
honey on it or Vegemite. It's in America they call them pacifiers.
Yeah, can't recall what they do and what they did to me.
Whatever, it didn't work. Never stopped you from talking.
Yeah, yeah.
And a hanky. You know what that is?
Handkerchief.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah,
Another job description,
that's
garbo.
easy.
Yeah, that one's an easy one. Garbo.
Garbo.
Yeah.
Garbage.
Yeah, garbage collector.
Oh, the
Well, they call
collector.
themselves garbologists, but anyway, garbos. Ambos.
Ambulance.
That's right. Yeah. Very good. Yeah, I think I'll give you 6.5 out of 10.
I don't think so. I thought I got less than 5. How I say it usually while asking people to subscribe to my videos, I say, if you want immigration advice, please do not hesitate to contact me. If you want immigration advice about Australian visas, and the way I say Australia is sometimes I say Australia or I say Australia. I'm not sure. What's the best? I mean, what's the usual way to say it?
Well, I guess if you look at the spelling, it should be pronounced Australia. Some people say they speak Australian or Strine or
Australian,
Australia.
Australia.
Yeah, that's sort of the Ocker way of saying it.
But they'll never stress on this Leah. They'll never stress on
Not
Leah.
very often, no.
Yeah, I like saying it's Treya, but I feel that people wouldn't understand what I'm saying.
No, you're sort of leaving out
Firstly,
too much.
firstly, there are 2 risks. I mean, there are 2 risks here. It's not firstly, but I'm saying, firstly, I might say it wrong. The way I say Treya as well might be wrong. Next thing, even if I get it right, people wouldn't understand it. Isn't it? Yeah.
They'd probably understand what you mean, but yes, just the correct way is Australia. Some Americans pronounce Brisbane, which is how it's spelt, but Australians usually just say Brisbane. The same, we say Melbourne. We don't say Melbourne.
Yeah, but we don't say Melbourne, but we say Melbourne, but we say Melbonian.
Yes.
Oh, that's a bit tricky.
Yes, it's not logical, but that's just
when I
how
was
it is.
giving my poem.
Poem.
It's how I was saying Melbonian because I was told that it's not Melbonian, it's Melbonian. Then I corrected myself. No, not before.
A person's a Melbourneian.
Melbonian, yeah. But many people get it wrong. They say Melbourne instead of Melbourne. And we don't bother to correct them because they might get offended by that.
Yes.
So this is another reason why we do not learn, because we feel that if we correct them, they might get offended and our friendship would break.
Yes, well, I guess if you're hanging around with someone who says, I speak Australian, you can sort of speak the same as them and not offend them. But if you're speaking with some very well-educated people, you might
So why are you talking about education all the time?
Yes,
what's it got to do with accent and slang?
It mightn't be entirely to do with education. Sometimes it's just to do with IQ.
With the profession. IQ.
We're all different. Some people are very intelligent and know 5,000 words, and others
5,000 words.
500.
They can recall 5,000 words.
Oh yes, so people.
If you ask them, they will write them on the paper.
Yes, if you want to sit down, starting with A.
Studying with A.
The letter A will go through the alphabet.
They'll write 5,000 words. Yesterday, my nephew, he printed out some words. I mean, he might have asked somebody to print it out for him, and he was asking me to pick few words so that he can spell them out. And
good idea.
I picked one of the words. It's people. So is this what you say, right? People, not people.
People. People.
This people
People.
like impossible, like Red Bull.
No, the
You know?
people.
But
It's
I'm
got to
saying,
pronounce the p.
yeah,
The second one, I mean, people.
people. So impossible. You say BUL instead of BLA.
Impossible. Yeah, we do.
Impossible. Yeah. So I was saying people, and I asked him that word to spell out. He said, "I just did." My mother asked, I did, and you're asking me the same thing. Ask me something else. Then
Different.
I told him, I gave him an example. My dear nephew, if you're outside the house and a stranger comes up to you and asks the address for the South Moran station, and you tell him, and off he goes. And there's another person, and he asks you the same address. What would you say? Would you say that I told the, the first man the address?
And I'm not telling anyone else.
Yeah. How would the second person?
Feel, well, if you're going to be like that.
Well, somehow it worked. And my nephew told me the spelling, which was incorrect.
Oh, after all that. How did he spell it?
I can't recall. Well, anyways,
Character.
yeah. Okay, Linda, imagine that somebody has no Australian accent at all and hardly understands slang. So I would imagine we need to give importance to accent first rather than slang. But let's assume that they do not have the accent but still want to communicate. Well, they might be shy, firstly, but I would recommend the very reason I'm doing this podcast is for them to understand that it's very important to communicate regardless of having an accent or slang. But just imagine from your perspective, if somebody doesn't have an accent and comes up to you to speak something, they're really interested to make friends with you, but you're having trouble understanding them. Have you faced any situations like that, and what's your suggestion for them?
Yes, I do face that situation at work quite often. I listen, I want to help, and I think you'll find that most Australians are like that. We're patient, and it's up to the person to just say what they want to say, and eventually we'll fill in the gaps because we're not, really dopey.
What is that?
Well, not too silly. We can figure out the
Oh,
meaning of
yeah,
a sentence even
true.
if a few things are wrong.
Yeah.
I've had some people from Lamington Land.
What is that? Okay, what happened with those people?
Well, sorry, an old lady from Lamington Land pardon me, got a cough, came into our office with her daughter. Now, she'd lived here for 30 years but never bothered to learn English.
Yeah.
And so she always had to take her daughter with her everywhere to be an interpreter. Now, that's just a ridiculous way to live, I think. Really?
Well, how can you say it's a ridiculous way when they can't speak English, but they want to say something? They obviously need an interpreter.
Well, that's right. We just, if her daughter
Yeah.
wasn't with us, we would just use sign language.
Yeah, that should be very difficult for you.
Well, it is because apparently sign language in Lamington
Okay. So,
Land is quite different.
yeah, but how do you know that? How do you know that there's sign language there, and how do you know that same sign language to use against them? It was really crazy. See, Linda, just think about the Australians. I have asked you a question regarding the migrants who wants to come up to you and speak, but they don't have an accent. What's the perspective from Australians. So here
Well,
we have two different people having trouble with communication here. Even Australians are accepting, they want to talk, but they can't understand it. And the other person, migrant, wants to talk, but first thing, Australians doesn't understand his accent. Second thing, he doesn't understand their accent. So, what do you feel as an Australian? I mean, how can we solve this problem? It's Is it only the migrants who have to take the lead and then work on their language, or do you think even the Australians can learn a bit of other accents and make this a multicultural, the
yeah,
real multicultural
we'd have
society
to
that we are
learn
living?
22 different accents. And some people say, people should learn to speak English before they come here. Well, I was born here and I couldn't speak English when I arrived, so I think it's just a matter of being patient. Yes, people might have for instance, a different accent, or they might put, as they say, the emphasis on the wrong syllable, and that really sounds. We've got to listen hard and we've got to use our brains and figure out
Yeah.
what it is they're trying to say. And so long as they can be
Emphasis.
patient with us, even if we do say pardon a few times, but usually the person who is talking to you wants to know what you want to say.
Yes, so emphasis and syllable instead of emphasis and syllable.
Yes,
That's what
the
you're trying to
emphasis
say.
on the
And you
right
also
syllable.
said,
But as soon
yeah,
as you say it incorrectly, it's it, huh?
yeah, it's a big mistake. They'll put you in jail.
Yes.
And you also said that you didn't learn English when you were born.
No, yeah, well, I was born in Australia, but I couldn't speak English when I arrived here in Australia. I was born in. Could you speak English when you arrived in India?
I didn't arrive in India.
You
I was
did.
born in
Oh,
India.
well, same thing, but could you speak English?
Definitely not.
Or
I
Indian?
can't even speak English now, like you do. So, I was saying, talking about pardon and sorry if you don't understand, why don't you tell upfront to a migrant that, look, I really want to talk to you, but if I don't understand something, I will say, pardon, sorry, but you don't get offended and don't run away. I really
Yeah,
want to
that's
talk to you.
right. Yes, that would be the
So,
polite thing to do.
yeah, why don't you do that? It's not a practical thing, isn't it?
Yes, I don't think we've got the same good manners that you have.
Well, I
It's how
think
you're brought up.
you have good manners, but it's just that it's not practical to do that, isn't it? You can't tell somebody that, oh, well, in advance, you can't tell somebody that you're not going to understand what they're saying, and you might want you might want them to repeat themselves. You can't just say that. It will be very offensive, isn't it?
Well, yes, I just say I'm hard of hearing. Yes, yeah, I can see it's annoying, but it's a process. It takes work on both sides, the person wanting to learn English and the person wanting to help the person learn English.
Yeah.
But even when someone makes a mistake in English, it can be quite funny and break the ice. And it doesn't matter if you get it wrong, as long as you just keep learning and keep trying, keep talking to people.
Yeah.
Sujith, this has been a lot of fun talking about accents and slang.
Yes.
Now, but you don't really have an accent, an Australian accent. So what are we doing here?
What do you mean? What are we doing here?
What's this all about?
Well, that's the moral of the story. You see, you understood what I said, even though I didn't have an Australian accent.
Yes, I understand the words.
You understand the words, but you don't understand the sentences.
Oh, I
Is
understand.
it what you said?
I understand the words and the sentences, but I don't understand the purpose of this.
Yeah, see, we have to think big picture. We have to help the skilled migrants like me to come here and take this nation forward. So I see that there are many skilled migrants out there, across the globe who do not have competent English, but they are very skilled, highly skilled. So, if English is the only thing that's stopping you, and if you feel that, oh, well, I don't have an Australian accent, I don't have the time to learn, and I don't know how to talk to Australians, then you're going on a wrong path. Firstly, the IELTS PTE exams that you're supposed to write, or any other approved English language test, they will not teach you how to speak to Australians. This is breaking news, guys. Listen to me, trust me, because what they have in the exam is significantly different to what you use in the daily communications. The way we speak to people is different to the way we do a speaking test in IELTS or PTE. So somebody gets 90 out of 90, but they are not great speakers. So if you get 100%, what does it say? It says that you're a great speaker. For example, if you call them to give a speech in our Toastmasters, there's no guarantee that they will do it well. So you have to take big picture into account. First thing first, don't worry about the accent part. So even when I was referring to those people who have cleared those exams and came here, they still are not comfortable in talking to Australians. And if they are not comfortable to talk to the locals, they can't go places because they don't know what's going on here and what opportunities are there other than just going to their workplace, coming back, and watching the same TV programs or YouTube. So if you take my example, you asked me why am I doing this? So I don't have an accent, but I wanted to mix with the Australian community. So how did I do that? I just went to Flemington Racecourse and I asked people what they are wearing on a Melbourne Cup day and on Oaks Day, on Derby Day. So I think it's just because I'm brave, I was able to do that.
Yes, you put
Even
yourself out there and
yeah, so that's what I'm suggesting here. So what you have to do is to go up to Australians, talk to them, make friends, and if they don't understand you, it's okay. Forgive them.
yes, just
Okay,
think, oh, they're dopey.
it's not their fault, and they are very accepting that they will forgive you as well, because you can't get the accent straight away. If you're
No,
not born here, you should make serious efforts to learn the Australian accent and practice it. If you take me, I don't bother about that accent because I think that I will be unique and special if I don't have an accent and still manage to make friends. You know what I mean?
yeah, we do admire people who try.
Yeah, I try. And if they don't understand, for example, we are now friends, but when we started our friendship, you wouldn't understand what I was saying, few words. So, and you would, look at the sky or look at other person's face. Oh, what is he saying? Then I would recognize that you're not understanding what I am saying. So I would repeat myself. I would be louder and clearer, and I will try and try till you understand what I'm saying.
So I got it through my thick head. Yes.
What do you mean by that?
Well, some people might understand more quickly.
Yeah, some people, it will take time. Yeah, if they are old, then you have to
Yes.
give respect to them. That
Oh.
it will take some time for them to understand. But it might take time for the kids as well to understand if they if they have the Australian accent. Now, talking about kids, it's very funny that some kids are born here and they have the accent. But even if they have the accent, they are still kids. So what I'm trying to get at is kids are not clear in what they say, Usually,
No.
sometimes they are not clear because they're kids. So their voice is a bit different to that of adults. And when they have this Australian accent and when they are kids, so it's a totally different accent.
Yes, you
You
do
know
want
what I
to
mean?
learn your English from a child.
Yeah, so then we will feel humiliated because it's a little kid who can speak Australian accent. I'm 30, 35, 40 years old. I can't understand what she's saying.
Well, neither can her parents.
Exactly.
She's
And
not from Lamington Land, is she?
yeah, this Lamington Lab funny people, they have thick accent. And I don't understand what is a thick accent and what is a thin accent. There should be only one accent. It will be easy for us to understand one accent rather than having different varieties of the same Australian accent. The other day I was speaking to a bank person and I was asking him a payment gateway, something like that, for my business. And he was having an accent which is not an Australian accent. And I find it very difficult to live in Australia and to understand somebody's accent which is not Australian accent. Because it took a while for me to understand the Australian accent. Now I don't want to learn another accent.
But you sort of have to because we are multicultural. And
Yes.
my brother-in-law's Scottish,
Right.
but his grandma lives right up north of Scotland on the coast, and he can't understand a word she says because some areas they don't travel much and they develop their own accent.
Right.
And it's very strong, and
Yeah,
no
I
one
want
else
to
can
develop.
understand.
I want to develop my accent too, and I want to teach it to somebody else.
Well, I think the Scottish accent's very hard to get rid of, and my brother-in-law will never order anything through the drive-through because they always get it wrong because they can't understand him. It's just such a strong accent.
Yeah, what do you mean? But I don't. It doesn't make sense to me if you say thick accent and
Well, it's
strong
like this,
accent.
like we would say,
It's like I can recall Obama's speeches where he says, you asked me to buy that book, Great Speeches, and one of them was Obama's speech when he was endorsing Kennedy or somebody else. Was saying, oh, there's no this blue America, there's no green America, there's only United States of America. Likewise, I say there's no thick accent, there's no thin accent, there's only one accent.
no, it
Well,
varies a lot. Like my, once again with the Scottish people,
yeah.
you could say, they might say, I can't do a Scottish accent, but something like this. It's a broad brick lick to nick.
Oh,
And you think, what's that? But it's a broad, bright, moonlit night tonight. But that's
my
not how they
God.
say it. They say it the other way, which is such a thick accent that if you're not used to it, you don't understand it. But if they write it down, it would be all right.
yeah,
But
but
when
they
they
won't have
say
the
it,
time to
no,
write it
that's
down.
true. But some places have very thick accents because maybe they haven't travelled a lot.
Yeah.
But it makes it interesting, though. I mean, it doesn't really matter. You can use sign language, but
Yeah, so what do you think with what I'm doing now? Is it the right approach to do?
oh yes, yes.
Yeah.
It's important to be able to communicate when you're young and when you're old. You know, just to be able to survive, you've got to make yourself understood and just persist.
Yeah, if you sorry about that. Sorry about that again.
Want some
So-
whiskey?
Yeah, not we need whiskey instead of water. So I'm saying if you look back at my videos, if I have improved in each of my videos. So that's what happens if you do consistent work on anything. So it's the same thing if you do work on your accent or your communication skills. And if you keep talking to more Australians, you'll find a way that you can make them understand, and they will find a way to be understood. So if you make more friends, then they will figure out what you're saying.
That's true.
Yeah, so if you make so many friends, then you don't have to worry about anything else. Now you've got heaps of friends, and
Yes.
you've got inner circles, you got your job, and what else do you need? You don't have to worry about anything. So they all understand what you're saying, and it becomes a problem when you go to a new person who doesn't understand, and for them to be able to understand, you have to spend some time with them.
That's true. Yes,
Yeah.
our ear has to get accustomed to a different accent. If you speak to
Yes.
someone from Scotland, someone else from Ireland, someone
Exactly.
from Germany, they'll all have a different accent,
Yes.
even though they're speaking the same English.
Yes. So I can recall something when we went out last week for the Poets Chambers, when I gave I wasn't sure if it was a poem, but
poem.
they said it's a poem. Poem. Or poem. What do you say?
Poem.
Poem. Okay. So when we were going there, what I said, we were talking about the direction, and one of your friends one of your friends didn't understand what I was saying, and you told her what I was saying because you found a way to understand me, my language, I mean. And then you said, oh, he's saying this. So that's what happens.
Yes.
Yeah. So this is the very idea of this podcast. So if you are brave, okay, and if you make friends with the locals, then that friendship should be genuine. You shouldn't be making friendship for the sake of it.
No.
Don't just take a picture and put it on the Facebook and say that you got an Australian friend. If it's fake, then that will cost you credibility. You have to be genuine in what you do, and when you make friends, they will figure out a way to understand you. Likewise, you will learn new words, obviously, when you're listening to them when they talk. So you'll know, okay, this is how they say it. Like, you know what I mean? So this is a kind of phrase that people use here. You see what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah. And things like that. So they will come by default. You don't have to teach yourself. Don't go hard and then download a list of slang words and read bit by bit. It's like an exam thing.
Yes.
Theoretically, we are talking about the on-the-job training kind of thing here. So real-time experience, and this is the only way you can learn English, the Australian English. Be yourself. Don't paint your face with another color. It's not going to change. And don't be shy to speak in your accent. Yeah. You should be proud from where you came. Don't forget that. But you should have room to accommodate different values and learn Australian values. Even the Department of Immigration wants that.
Yes.
That they want you to have the Australian values. So there's nothing wrong in integrating with the Australian community, and it will give weightage to your profile as well. Allegiance to Australians. Did I say the word right?
Allegiance.
Allegiance. Allegiance. They were talking about allegiance recently with the dual citizenship. So that's a big topic. And in the citizenship bill, there is strong or just the emphasis. If I use the word emphasis, I don't have to use strong beside that. So there is emphasis on allegiance to Australia. So that's about this podcast. So please don't be shy to speak in your own accent and be brave to go to Australians and make friends. There are different platforms to do that. You don't have to be restricted to AFL, or you don't have to pose beside a kangaroo. Yeah.
You can go to the theatre, to plays, anything.
Yeah,
Whatever
yeah.
interests you.
So Do you want to say anything before we finish, Lynda?
Oh, yes. Come to Australia, especially Melbourne, the most livable city in the world. We're very friendly. Sometimes we might talk a little bit too fast, but yeah, we'd love to have you here. Bye.
Thank you, Lynda. Thank you for listening to this podcast. If you want immigration advice, please do not hesitate to contact me. My name is Sujith Billa. I'm a registered migration agent living in the most livable city on earth, Melbourne. Please subscribe to my podcast, Sujith Talks, and also subscribe to my YouTube channel, Sujith Talks, which has become a public video library with over 2,000 subscribers, giving pristine information, which means as it is information from the official sources, and also a general advice about Australian visas, specifically general skilled migration 189, 190, and 489. Thank you. Bye now.